Welcome, Carol Sue, and all of you regulars who join me on. So it seems like Crafting Sunday lately, doesn't it? And welcome to all of you who've not been here before as well. We'll give it just a minute for everybody to join in. Let's see, because we always have a pretty good crowd here. And we have Get Set Up TV and Facebook Live. If you're joining there, welcome as well. And hopefully you will enjoy and decide to join in on an RSVP, register next time so you can be an active participant. So how's everybody?
We're okay. We got sunshine in Jersey.
Sunshine and we finally have sunshine in Louisiana. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. We finally got some sunshine. We've just been about flooded out of this place. Oh, let's see who else we have here. We still have a few people joining. So I'm Jennifer. If I haven't met you before, is there anybody here that's never been to a Get Set Up class before? Give me a hands up or a woohoo or something. Has everybody been to at least one class?
I can't count them anymore.
What's that? You can't count them anymore? This is a good thing. That means you're enjoying them and you're coming back for more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great setup. If you've not been here before, of course, everything is on Zoom. If you are not that familiar with Zoom, we have some great people from the support team at Get Set Up that are on here. And if you notice in the chat box, everybody know where the chat box is. Kim is there and she can help you if you need any type of help with the Zoom. I am not the Zoom master. I always tell everybody I struggle my way through Zoom as well because like most of you all, you've had to kind of learn it as you go. Well, I did the same thing. So if you need any help, feel free to reach out to Kim and she can help you with that. All right.
All right. I couldn't get any sound, so.
Can you hear me? You can't hear?
I'm sorry.
Anne might need some help, Kim.
Sure thing, I'll send her a message.
Okay. Very good. All right. Let me see who all is here. Oh, I see quite a few people. I know all you, and I think we're missing Marlene. I bet Marlene comes in too. She's here pretty often. So glad to have you again. Here at Get Set Up, I just do like to tell you that we're not here to sell you anything. We're just here to teach and have fun together. I am a nurse by career, and I do have a few classes on here that are more educational, as in nursing, do a lot of dementia education. This is my fun class. This is my getaway because I call this my therapy. This is my time to enjoy. I've always been one of those people who hates to shop, and I'm always looking around me, and my challenge is in finding what I can make out of something that I already have at home. If I do have to go out and get supplies, I like to send somebody else to get them because I hate to shop. So I also, because I have so many friends that know I love to craft and to kind of be creative and make things out of what I already have. I have a lot of people that will give me their I don't want to say trash because it's not, but things that they might get rid of that they think I could make something out of. So that's always fun when they bring me something else and kind of give me a challenge. So I'm not going to show you just yet what's in store. I'm going to show you from beginning to end because just last night I was deciding what we were going to do today. And I kind of had this going on in my mind for some time. And so I do things very, what's that term, like fly by the seat of your pants? I do that sometimes, and especially with crafting because I don't always know what I have in mind. I do, however, always have so so many things going through my head that I don't sleep at night because I'm thinking what I can do the next day with something, or I'll have that epiphany in the middle of the night. So y'all know those people. I'm one of those people. Somebody else say, Miss Ann, Jennifer, you remind me of BB Newirth from Frasier TV show. Is that a good thing? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's definitely a good thing. And she's a fabulous Broadway actress too.
Yes. I'll take that as a compliment then. And believe
Yes.
it or not, for some of you who have met me before, there's probably a little known fact amongst even you all, on my resume as well, which, I'm not here to talk about my resume really, because I did tell you I was a nurse, but little known fact, I have several children and for many years that have actually worked in the film industry. So we've had that film experience, commercial, movies, TV, that kind of stuff. And it's a real big learning experience. My kids actually got me into it probably 10 or 11 years ago. Actually, maybe more than that now. And so it's a whole different world. So it's kind of fun to escape to that and kind of get to be somebody else when you're tired of being yourself. Yeah. And sometimes I get tired of being myself. So it's a great opportunity. So we got more people coming in. So yesterday I was thinking about what we were going to do, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. And most of y'all know I kind of like doing things with paper because it's so accessible. Everybody gets junk mail. Everybody gets, you get the newspaper, you get magazines and things like that. So I tend to do a lot of paper things because the overabundance of supplies. But also in going through some of my stuff, I have wallpaper. Anybody have any wallpaper left from times past? Or maybe I see Carolyn says yes. Okay, so I had all this wallpaper and wallpaper border that I had from my previous home, and I've lived in this home since 2017, but redid a previous home in 2003, and I still had the wallpaper, mostly wallpaper borders, and some of it was wallpaper that went in a kitchen. And so I had always hung on to it, and I've used it for certain things off and on, which has been very nice. However, I still had tons of it. So I decided I was going to get creative and do something with that wallpaper, or some of it. Obviously not all of it, because like I said, I have an overabundance of it. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you from the beginning what went into it before I show you the almost finished product, because quite frankly, it's not completely finished. There's a mower going outside my house now, and I have a dog that's probably fixing to bark at it. I hear this, I see the look. So let me go in here and share my screen. And welcome to y'all who just joined. I see some more familiar Sue and several others who have joined us before. Okay. Can you all see that, first of all?
Yes.
Okay. Take a wild guess at what that is. It's going to be all too obvious when I say it.
The cardboard that goes underneath pizza.
That's exactly right. Thank you much, Carol Sue, because I know that was you. That is what I started with, is the pizza box. Okay. So I told you, this is very technical, obviously. This took some great doing. Okay. So then, come here, Bill. So then I decided to get a little bit of cardboard, and because I was going to have to make a hanger, because this is going to be something that I hung. That lawnmower is killer. So the little piece on the left, I made into a hanger. I'm just showing you what went into this. And there is the finished product of that. Now, this is not really all that I did, I promise. You can see that that's a pizza board because you see the grease stain on it, don't you? You thought I was kidding. So I punched a hole. If you can see that little bitty hole in the hanger, that I glued, and I just glued it on there. Nothing difficult. And I actually don't have a string through that yet, or a ribbon. I'm going to put that through there to hang this, but I haven't done it yet. Bo, go get that mower. There you go. Okay, let me go to the next one, if I can. There we go. Okay, so that is actually white. It's just white wallpaper. It's kind of textured. It's not flat, but it is white wallpaper. So it's nothing fancy. But if you can see, if you look closely, I just drew some lines on there. And I actually used, let me grab it. I used a folder. This is really technical too. And I traced around it. So I didn't even have to measure anything. And I honestly didn't have any particular measurements in mind. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looked like too. Here's kind of some remnants of that. Just white. This one's already kind of been trimmed, so it's not very big. Plain old white wallpaper. I kind of use that as my base. Then I rolled it. Look, kind of like an ice cream cone. Yeah, so I rolled a few of those. Now, to prove to you that I am the Bob Ross of crafts, because happy little accidents, I learn as I go, especially since I don't really follow the lead of any one person and I kind of do it myself. I'll YouTube something, and like most of y'all, I'll probably look up something, but I don't necessarily have any instruction. So I kind of wing it, quite frankly. And so you're going to see my accident that I started out with. And I purposely left that in there because I don't want y'all to think I am some kind of guru. Okay, so I put a little dot in the middle of that board, in the middle of the little grease spot, yes. And I started gluing on multiple ones of those. Now, who wants to guess what happened as I started gluing these on? Because you know my intention was to glue them all the way around, you know? Who wants to guess what might have happened? And you can probably see there what began happening. Those ends were not in the center. And to get them all the way around, it was not going to work. So I realized that by about the fourth piece, and I had to rip them off and begin going around evenly to make this work. So live and learn. If you want to try something like this, you can see there where the remnants are, where I had to pull it off. I used hot glue, by the way. Hot glue was working better. I started trying to use some tacky glue. Didn't work very well. And it wasn't going to dry fast enough. So I used hot glue and it's worked extremely well. So I added from the center out, and that went swimmingly well compared to what I was doing before. So that's just a couple of different shots there. And there was kind of the finished of the white. So it looks kind of cool already, huh? Like a lot of little white ice cream cones. And you probably can't tell how big it is, but you have to keep in mind the perspective of that pizza board behind it. And you can see how small it looks compared to that. This is quite a large project. I didn't necessarily intend for it to be that large, but again, I didn't do any measuring before I started. So then I took some other wallpaper border, and if you can see, I rolled it, and it's different sized, and I started putting it in between. And that's what it came out to be. So layer upon layer, I added some different, fortunately I had in my wallpaper borders, I had a lot that kind of were in the same tones of colors, they kind of had the same color themes. And so they kind of went together because I didn't have enough of one to do everything, but I think it was pretty complementary. So layer upon layer, that was after about 4 different layers. And if you notice in the very center, there are just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6, 7, maybe 7 little pieces that have a little more blue in it. Those were the smallest ones, and that was my last layer. So kind of looks like a flower, maybe. I think it looks rather cool. It's very difficult to get a good shot of it. So what I wanted to do is create something to put in the middle of that. So it kind of put some finishing touches on it. And so if you can see it's a cutter pillar. That's what it's called. It's not just my little cute name for it. That cutting board is a cutter pillar. It has a light on it. And so I cut some strips and decided I was going to do a little quilling. So I cut some strips there, and then I cut the strips, literally cut the strips. And if you know anything about quilling, I decided to roll those up. There's some of my strips there. And this is what I started out with. I rolled those in the middle and made a center, kind of like the center of a flower, and then decided to make some petals. Now, my inside doesn't look like that anymore, but this is kind of how it started out, and I played with it a little bit. And let's see if I added any more on here. I might not have added the other ones on here. May not have. Okay. You're back with me now. You're not screen sharing now, right? Yes? Or do you still see pictures?
Yes, you're fine.
Just making sure. Okay, so I didn't add any other pictures on there, but I'm going to show you what I have as of now. I'm not necessarily finished, but I want you to know how I did all that in steps, because I certainly couldn't fit that in an hour, and how easy that was. And I mean, you don't have to use wallpaper. You could use something else that you have at home. And I think this is kind of a pretty design. So let me grab that. It's kind of big. And I have, hopefully you can see better, all wallpaper except for the center. And I'm probably going to add a little greenery. I'm going to put it up close so you can kind of see the center.
Oh, yeah.
And the back as well, because I have not strung anything in it yet to hang it up. But because it's wallpaper, it's fairly light. It's just large. But I intend to string something through that hole in the back to hang it up. Now, where I'm going to hang it is still up for debate. And since it's pretty big, it might go on a door. I don't know. Maybe on the bedroom door. But would you have thought that that was wallpaper?
No.
Or wallpaper border? Because actually, I think all of these except for the white, like I said, were wallpaper border. And some of those wallpaper borders are so pretty. I just hate to throw them away. So again, I've used them for several things. But I think that if you can do something as easy as roll paper, you can make something pretty significant out of it. Now, again, I think I'm going to add some greenery probably in the middle here. I don't necessarily want a lot, but just because the paper itself is pretty decorative and colorful. So what do you think?
It's pretty. It's different.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's that?
Nice.
I don't think you'd be able to go to the store and find it.
No,
No.
very unique. It's different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Odd stuff, what you can't find every day.
Yeah. Now imagine had I done this at the previous house with the wallpaper borders when I actually had rooms that had the wallpaper in them.
Oh, wow. That'd have been nice.
That would have been pretty cool, huh? I don't have that now. And I don't have any wallpaper in any of my rooms now. But I'm glad I saved the paper because I think that's really a unique way to do that. But so easy. I really get accustomed to using with paper stuff. the tacky glue, but I have to tell you, if you do something like this, works a lot better with hot glue for the thicker, because it doesn't dry as quick. And that tacky glue really does dry pretty fast. But I found that worked a lot better. Now, I will also show you, and this is not something I've recently done, but I do, let's see. I do this occasionally. The same wallpaper pieces that I have used in the past and used on here and used for different crafts, I've done many things like simple, look, it's a grocery bag. Grocery bag. This is one that I recovered after giving to somebody so I could, show it. But these, there's nothing on here that's not wallpaper except for the little bees. And even me, who is no artist, drew the bees. And guess what the white is on those bees? The little wings. Guess what
White
that
out?
is?
White
What's
out?
that? It
White
is.
out?
You're Carol Sue. I can't pull anything over on you. You know all the answers. Yeah, it's white out because I didn't really have anything white that I could use, but kind of cute and personal. If somebody gave you something handmade, is it more meaningful than something they've bought at the store to you?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I even, and you know what? When you realize when you do something like this, that you rarely ever get paper bags anywhere, do you? Most of the time now you get plastic bags and they almost look at you funny if you ask for a paper one. I'm not used to that. I'm used to the, back in the day, we all got paper bags, didn't we? There was no plastic bags. Very strange. So I also, and I don't have any to show you, but even with the paper bags, I've made envelopes with them to put them down in. So I didn't have to necessarily, I didn't have to measure my card that I made. I would just make an envelope for it and put it down in there. And it works out pretty well. And those are pretty simple. You could probably Google the instructions for that. And so it's kind of a nice little thing. So I kind of keep this container with it's just really scraps of things from the wallpaper border. Some of it's big flowers, but things that I can use that I might make a card or a gift tag or something like that. And I think it gives it a great personal touch. And so every once in a while, or, if I'm going to have to wait in the car for somebody or something, I'll take something with me. And I mean, what a pretty little flower. And so I'll take the little tiny scissors and cut out little parts. And then when I want to put something together for somebody, I have all these little tiny pieces and I just throw together something. And, it's not really difficult. That white base that I used on that big picture makes a nice fence. That's what that is. It's phenomenal if you think outside the box a little bit. It's phenomenal what you can do with all these little things that you were going to get rid of. And again, I'm pretty big on the paper stuff because it's so plentiful, so plentiful. So I have to ask now, for all of you who've been here before, did you bring anything back for me to see or for the rest of us to see? Marlene is not here, I don't think. She usually brings me something back. There's Marlene. Hi, Marlene. Did anyone bring something today?
Oh, I have it upstairs. I'll just grab it if you want.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be great. So did anybody in here come in late that did not see what I was showing? I always have a few that come in a little bit late.
Me. I did.
Who is me? Marilyn. Okay. So we were talking about using wallpaper borders that we had. Let me just kind of pull out the stack of things. I'm going to show you one just for fun. So y'all, because y'all think I'm kidding. So these are some of the wallpaper borders that I used.
Okay.
Leftover from 2003 when I redid my previous home. Okay. So I've had them for a very long time. Actually, I did not use that one. I didn't have enough, but wouldn't that have been pretty to use?
Yes.
So in putting those together, so that and the plain old white, I threw those things together, curled them up like little ice cream cones. And this was the end result.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw you making that. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't think any one of you could not do something like this. I like things that are easily accessible. I like things that are easy for anyone to do. I'm not an expert, so if I can pick up something and do it, I figure anybody can. And y'all just think that you have stuff that you haven't gotten rid of. I don't even know where this came from. I have no idea. I never had wallpaper like this, but by the looks of that label, how old do you think that is? I mean,
Oh,
yeah. And look, it's
from
spotted.
the 80s or 90s.
I don't even know where it came from. I have no idea. I don't think we ever had a room that had it in there, even when I was a child. So I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody gave it to me. I really don't know. And I don't know if it has a year or a date on it, but I pulled it out and went, wow, I have a lot of stuff. So I was also a little bit afraid to use this because it's kind of brittle. I can use it for some things for sure, but I thought for that, it's probably not going to hold up. So I chose not to, but I thought it was really funny and y'all would really, you believe me now when I say I have stuff. I have stuff that's probably only, 20 years older than I am or younger. I don't know. Probably some of both. So Marlene, what did you bring?
Oh, okay. I wanted to say that I belong to a group on Zoom. It's a craft class on Zoom from the senior centers. And every week they tell us to make something. They name something that we can use. So this past week they said, find the light. It's a battery operated light. You find that in the dollar store. Some of them are called flicker lights.
Yeah.
So I was watching.
Is it the little candle?
Yeah.
That looks like a candle.
Let me see if I have it. No, I have it in the other room. But do you have that light?
Like a tea light?
That little flicker light, you have it? Oh yeah, he has it. Wait a minute.
Oh, that light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like a tea light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had to make something with it. If I turn it on, mine's not too bright, but it would shine. Okay. And well, I'll show you something that I didn't make, but with the light, everybody would like this. I went to a senior center and I bought this. So it's a wine glass and the lady made a shade out of paper.
Yeah.
See, and then you can turn it on. Okay. So I have the light. So when I was thinking what to make with it, and I was watching Sue on Get Set Up. She's from Australia.
Yes.
She was talking about toilet paper rolls, what you can do with recycling toilet paper rolls. So she showed a gnome house and fairies so that you could put the light in there. So she gave me a great idea, and here it is. Here's my finished product. Okay.
Oh, how cute. It's the Smurfs. It's cute.
So I made a cottage, and then I can fit the light inside the house, and their cottage
And
would
it
light
lights up.
up. Yeah.
That's great.
And that's cool. So I happened to have all these things in the house, so I could create it.
Yeah.
I had to laugh at Marlene because I have the same thing, which is a
Oh.
glass, but I stamped a piece of vellum and made the lampshade.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
And I have,
Yeah.
this is my Christmas one I haven't put away, but I have them for all
Oh,
different
That's
seasons.
beautiful.
oh, it's
Yeah,
pretty.
I like to make sure people understand too that when you're doing something like that and you're talking about paper, don't use anything more than that flicker light, because if you use a bigger light, it may
Oh.
catch fire.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Or a real candle, it will catch fire. I've had people comment before on things like that, and so I'm like, no, don't try that at home.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
those are
isn't that cool?
yes. Thank you for sharing those.
Oh, you're
Thank you
welcome.
for sharing those. So,
Thanks.
and for some of you all who, you know, I commonly get questions again about quilling because I do a lot of that, and I'm a novice at that too. So I certainly don't claim to be an expert by any means, but I do like to do some quilling. A lot of it's experimental because I'm still learning things. And when you asked, like, how do you do the center of that? That was all quilling. And that's what I was showing you with those pictures with the strips and cutting them. And that's how the middle of that flower was made,
Oh, I see.
with the little slits in those tiny pieces of paper, and rolling those up. And it gives it a nice texture, and it looks more like the center of a flower. Again, I think I may add some greenery. And if you're ever wondering, there's some interesting ways that you can do that too. I have this little device, and I don't even know how to use all my devices yet that I have for quilling, because I'm just not that, I'm a novice at it, and I have so many things I enjoy doing that I haven't gotten to learn all of the tools yet. So if you wanted to make something with some texture, this is just kind of an FYI. One of the things that I got with my quilling stuff, and that's just a plain strip of green paper. I want you to look at it closely because you can tell it's flat. There's nothing special about it. But I got this cute little device. And again, being that it's paper, I can turn my flat little paper into something with some texture. And I'm not a cook. If any of y'all have I think it's a pasta press or something they call it. Am I wrong here? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But this, I think I'm told, this kind of works like a pasta press. You put the paper in there and you crank it. And if you see, that has little ridges in it. And so that paper comes out with a texture. Hopefully you can kind of see that. So now, so if I wanted to make leaves or something that wouldn't necessarily be just flat, I don't know if you can tell, there's a texture to that now. And it's just a little bit crinkled. I just think that's a cute little thing. And one of these, I guess, is a little, the lines are closer together, so it's a little more crinkled, and one of them's a little bit bigger. But that's just one of the pieces that they have sent me, and some of the stuff I've ordered in my quilling stuff. But just kind of an interesting little aside, because sometimes you can make some cute little flowers and things out of it that look a little bit different textured without having to cut all those little slits in the paper and things like that. It's kind of an easy way to do it. It's not really a cheat. I think you'd have a hard time crimping paper like that otherwise if you did it by hand. It would be very tedious. So I'm not sure how you would do that. So just a fun little aside there. Do any of y'all do quilling? Have you had experience doing that?
I did quilling in the 70s.
Yeah, it's been around a long time, and a lot of people have never heard of it.
Yeah, it faded, but now it's back, I've noticed. I do calligraphy,
Yeah.
and it made nice work around the calligraphy.
Yes. And I have some calligraphy pens too. I'm not necessarily great at it, but I do it occasionally. But you're right. Anything you can kind of embellish things that you've written in
Mhm.
calligraphy, things with initials or a short phrase or something makes beautiful, beautiful work. I've done a fair amount of quilling in the last year because I don't think I picked it up until about the last year. And it's a continuous learning. It kind of opens up infinite possibilities of what you can do or add to. Because again, this was not a quilling project here, but to put something in the center that kind of is different and unique. I could glue anything in there. I could have put buttons in there. I could have put fake flowers or whatever. And I have all that stuff. But I think that I could take that little flower in the middle and continue growing on that a little bit. And again, I probably will put at least a little bit of greenery. There's just so many things you can do. The ideas and the possibilities are endless. But yeah, I encourage any one of you who have some wallpaper at home to get creative with it, because you know what? It's going to sit there. Let's see, 2003. This is 2021. So that's 18 years that I've had that. 18 years. Really? Yeah. So I just now used a lot of that up. So also some of that wallpaper makes great decoupage material. This stuff that's falling apart would make excellent decoupage material. Now, I will tell you, some of the stuff that I had was not really wallpaper when I started going through it. It was more like the stuff you put into a shelf liner type thing, and the back was sticky. There was some of it I really wanted to use, but the back was sticky. So I had to opt against that, because that would have been a real mess when it got dusty inside that thing with all the little ice cream cone, funnels.
Couldn't you line it with paper? Attach another piece of paper?
You probably could. You probably could have. This was sticky automatically off the roll. And I think because it was old, I'm afraid that the paper wouldn't have stuck. And when you started to roll it, I think it would have started to peel apart. It would have been messy. So I just didn't use that. One of them was a really pretty blue, just a solid blue. And I really would have liked to have used that, but I couldn't because of that sticky backing.
Or paint the backing before you peel it off. I mean, rather than
it didn't have any backing on it. It was just sticky.
Oh.
Right. It was a roll and it was already sticky on the back, but there was nothing to peel off.
Gotcha.
And so I really wanted to use it, but I was like, that's not going to be a good idea. So I had to put that one aside, but I can use it for other stuff. And I have. I think that if, even if your paper doesn't have any kind of design on it, if it's just solid, there's still so many things you can do with it. If you're cutting shapes, okay, so this has a white fence, but what's wrong with a blue fence? It's a card. That little bluebird would look pretty on that paper. It might be more difficult to cut it if it has a sticky back. I don't know. You probably could have put enough backing on it with a piece of paper to make a little bird. But there's always something that you can do with it. I do love to take the mail, the local magazines that have like the local events and pictures of activities and things in them. Sometimes they have they're kind of newspaper material, but they generally have some really good color to them. And I like using some of those pages in some of the rolled magazine projects that some of y'all have seen. How many of y'all have seen some of those that I've shown in the past? I know some of you have. Let me go in here. I'm going to go in here and look and see if I can find a couple of pictures as reference. Here we go. Okay, let me go into my share screen and make sure that y'all can see. Are y'all all looking at a share screen? Okay, so this is a great example. So, and you could do some of these kind of things with wallpaper as well. But these are just rolled magazine pages. And I've done many, many of these things in the past, everything except for the numbers there, which were wooden numbers that I had and painted. And those are the tops off of shotgun shells, because I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is sportsman's paradise. So there's a lot of hunting that goes on here. And these flags that are made for some of our first responders, they like those shells for stars. So, but a lot of those local magazines, they have great colors in them. And I notice these kind of things more than I do what's in the magazines now. That tells you a lot about me. I save so many things that I think have good color because I'll use them in many art, I say art, they're art, but they're craft projects. So and lots of the very colorful magazine, the ads, those ads are really good. And so when I'm looking at a magazine, a lot of the time I'm impressed by the ads because I'm looking at the colors in the pages instead of the articles. I don't read much of the magazines. I just use them for crafts. But you can kind of see some of this is junk mail.
Can I ask you a question? What about Earth Day? Have anything in mind for Earth Day in addition to these? Because these are good ideas. I just wondered.
I haven't really thought about it. I guess because so much of what I do is all recycle.
Sure, it is.
It mostly is. There's a few things I will add. This, by the way, is not something I did. That's actually something that I pulled off of, I believe, Pinterest. But I just think they're cool things you can do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think about Earth Day? You have any suggestions? I did not do this one either. I don't like to try to take credit for something I didn't do. So
That's all right.
I think that's a great idea. I haven't done that, but I would really like to do some picture frames like that because I think they're really pretty. And you can make them any kind of theme. I think those are really pretty. And a planter, I think that's a great idea too. Maybe that for Earth Day.
Yeah, that's true.
That might be a good one for Earth Day. Just take a box and create a planter out of it, or, a plain planter that you've bought at the store. That's a really, really easy project right there.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Jennifer,
Does everybody know kind of how to roll those up?
I was going to ask how you get the size to be consistent from each tube.
The size of each roll.
Each tube seems to be the same size. How do you do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Roll it
I
around a
use a pencil.
Pencil.
Like,
okay.
for instance, that's one that I made. That's a trash can I made for my daughter. I use a pencil. I will show you. Let me see if I can find some good paper here. We'll just use this. Let me go off of my stop share. Let me stop sharing here so that you can see me. Can you all see me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you get your magazine page, that's what we're going to say this is, and a pencil, you're just going to start at one corner and roll. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to do it right down the front of me here because I don't have a table in front of me. You just roll. Now you will have to keep in mind that you're going to lose your pencil in there if you don't pull it out. Now you could use something smaller. You could use, I don't know, chopsticks, or you could use many different things. Maybe a knitting needle, something like that.
Or a
But you just
straw.
roll it.
A
You can use a
skewer?
straw.
No.
Yep. And then you're going to take that little portion there and just glue it. Okay. So then when you need several of them, like for a longer piece, you're going to find a similar color or whatever shade you want, and you're going to string them together. Sometimes the challenge is in getting them to fit together here. Sometimes that's a challenge because they'll be so much the same size that one doesn't fit in the other. But usually what happens is when you're rolling, one of these ends is slightly bigger than the other, which is going to happen on the next piece that you roll. So you're going to roll enough, you're going to find some way to fit them together. You may have to roll several pieces to get two together. So the challenge sometimes is in finding the right colors. So for instance, if I'm doing the American flag, what colors are in the American flag? Red, white, and blue. White's not usually a problem to find too much of. Sometimes those other colors are a little more challenging. So when I tell you that when I go through a magazine and what stands out to me are the ads, it's because I'm looking at the colors. And most of the time, the ads in those magazines have beautiful ink. They have beautiful colors. They want your attention because they're trying to sell you something. So naturally, those pages in the magazine are they're the prettiest usually. They have bright colors. Think about even selling a bottle of Tylenol. When you look at the ad for Tylenol, it has this big bright red page because Tylenol's label is usually red and white. But that page, I can tell you that if I was going to make a red line flag or a red, white, and blue flag or whatever, and I'm looking for true red color that's bright, those Tylenol ads are great.
So
funny.
do you
It's
separate
funny how
out
I
the
remember that.
colors?
What's that?
You separate out the colors in Ziploc bags or bins?
No, I really don't. And you can. I mean, I go from one project to another so quickly that I usually don't have time to do all that organizing. But I'll tell you, I know a lot of the ads that are in magazines because I go through and look, and I'll even tell if I'm in a hurry to find something. I will ask, my husband or whomever, can you look for an ad in here for this? Because there's usually one in this type of magazine, and they can usually find them that way. And I'll know that the colors are going to be good. How bad is that? I know the ads by their colors, but it's really funny because, I almost look forward to the ads when I'm trying to make something. I'm looking for the ads. Those things that used to annoy you all the time become what you're looking for.
And do you use Mod Podge to get them to stick on?
Yeah, well, you can use a glue stick. To actually seal the pages together, you can even use tape because it's not really going to show when you're done. You could even use a little piece of tape. But now to put it on, because what I usually put mine on is foam board. And you probably will have to buy foam board if you decide to use that, but you can get that at Dollar Tree. It's $1 for a big sheet, and you may not want to use that whole sheet. So it's really very inexpensive. It's cheaper to get it there than it is at like Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. But when I put them on the board, I have done both. I have hot glued many times. That works well. I have also used the Mod Podge or tacky glue. I use a lot of, I buy the big jugs and refill my bottles. And even for the quilling, I use the Mod Podge glue, and it just goes in that little tiny bottle with the pinpoint top. You can see that little tiny, it looks like a needle. That's a glue bottle, but it's for very tiny things. So I do use both. With paper products, you have a wide range of what you can use for glue, but I mean, school glue works. But just to seal these together, get you a glue stick. It holds pretty well. You might have to kind of do this a couple of times, but it holds really well. But something heavier like this big thing that I did, last night, because I did all of this last night. I started this last night and I finished it last night. The only thing I did not do last night was the center, which I did just a little while ago. Any questions? I love my paper crafts and my wallpaper crafts. See, y'all are going to be telling your neighbors remodeling their home, don't throw anything away now.
Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have used tile as well and put quilling on tiles. That works great. Very decorative. A lot of things you can do with that. So I really didn't want to bring you something and show it to you that I couldn't show you how to do right here, but that one was going to be a little bit big. I was kind of all over the floor rolling those things up last night, but save your pizza cardboard, save your wallpaper border or your wallpaper.
Toilet paper rolls.
Toilet paper rolls. That's right. I've done some great
Paper
things. with-
towel.
Yeah, paper towel rolls. It's amazing what you can do if you can paper mache. I think I showed y'all before the bison that, yes, I built a bison paper mache. I was like the second grade hero when my son was younger in that class because I'd never done paper mache, but by golly, I was not going to the store to do this parent project, you know. I was not going to do it. So I was up for the challenge. So I decided to look into paper mache, and we built a bison paper mache, and it looked just like the internet picture. So that's my claim to fame, and we still have that bison. I brought it and showed it a couple weeks ago.
Paper to make it.
What's that?
Keep me talking.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Miss Marilyn?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Not in a big mouth.
Can you tell me just what are the easiest things that you found that work that are cute to recycle with toilet paper rolls, for an example?
Toilet paper rolls. I actually did, and this was for an event. It was an expo. And because I have a senior managed care business in Shreveport. And so for business, I was going to participate in this expo. And I wanted something a little cute and personal that I could slip some wrapped lifesavers down into. So I got some fresh paper towel roll. I mean, you could use paper towel rolls, but toilet paper rolls.
Mhm.
And I actually sprayed them first just for safekeeping, you know, with like Lysol them, but they were clean. And I bent the ends down, and I actually had painted, I can't say painted. I did it's the shaving cream and food coloring, and put them down in there. So they kind of had a marbled or tie-dyed look about them. Did
Yeah.
a few different colors. Bent the ends down in them, and slipped some lifesavers down in them. And then they had a little sticker on them, and I put a bow and all. They were kind of cute. That was really easy. It's the biggest parts really was tie-dyeing them, and you didn't have to do that. You could just put a sticker on them or something.
Yeah.
That was easy. I want to take some and do have you seen the wall things that go on a wall even they're beautiful. They look like metal. That you make out of toilet paper rolls.
Oh, okay.
You cut pieces of it and shape them, glue them together. You can decorate them with flowers. I've actually thought about doing that for this class. I think it looks great. And there's just, it's kind of like quilling. Your possibilities are endless. Those I think are really, really neat. And somebody in here once before was saying that they had done something like that. Was that you, Marlene? I don't think it was you. I think it was somebody else, and she's not here today. But somebody was showing what they had done at a community center with toilet paper rolls, and it was similar to what I had said I wanted to do, and I still haven't done it yet. But I think it's a really great idea. They really look like something you bought in the store, like a wall decor that's made out of metal. Just and you could decorate them, like you could spray paint them, and they would really look like metal. But
Now,
really
can I ask you, when you did those wine glasses with the tea lights, someone said a velour paper you used for that? What was that?
The other lady mentioned that, right?
I think she
Vellum.
said vellum.
It was vellum.
Oh, vellum.
Yeah, and then I just stamped it, different stamps with ink.
Oh, that's pretty.
So pretty.
Thanks.
I found this somewhere. You take little bottles of plastic bottles and you cut them, and you can make a flower petals out of them. Did you ever see these?
That's good.
Yes, I'm fixing to make you a little bigger here so I can see it really well. Okay,
see
hold
it?
that up again. Plastic bottles. Yes, I have seen that actually.
And I haven't done anything with it other than cut it, but you know, they're small bottles, the water
Yeah.
bottles. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I have seen that. And I've actually seen something similar to that. They were made from the base of plastic spoons made
Oh,
into
yeah.
made
Okay.
into ladybugs. I think I've seen some made into flowers too that are really pretty. Kind of the same thought process. They kind of look similar when they're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very good. I've never done the water bottle ones, but I think that's really cool looking. And if you can paint them and all, you can make them really neat looking.
Mm-hmm. What kind of weather, what kind of
Yeah.
paint, if they were going to be outside in a garden area, what kind of paint would you use?
That's a good question. You might have to use like a latex paint of some sort. I don't do a lot of painting of anything. Most of what I do is either something that I would do very little painting and then I would put something over it like Mod Podge to protect it. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
do that on plastic.
Oh.
I'm not
They
sure.
should have spray paints for plastics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Spray paint-
Thank you.
spray paint's
Good idea.
easier. Spray paint is much easier on stuff like that.
They
Okay,
do
thank
take-
you.
They do sell indoor and outdoor enamel. They also, I know at Michael's, they take and have they call it patio pants.
Oh, okay.
Patio paints, not pants. You might want to take and try that.
All right. Thank
it's
you.
like $3 for a 1 ounce bottle. If it doesn't work, you can paint something else.
Yellow around. the
Okay.
coffee.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
oh,
good.
I see,
I
yeah.
like the spray paint idea because spray paint's a lot easier on stuff that's very uneven like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can get to all the spots better to me than a paintbrush, but that's just me.
Thank you.
Jennifer, I've been puzzling over the double-sided or the
The yellow.
adhesive-sided contact paper. You can fold it over on itself.
You could. And I think that would work for a lot of things. And then both sides is the same color. Again, because mine's so old, it might not work just because it's been around for many years. And so it's lost some of its sticky.
Mhm.
So I don't know how well it worked, but it would be better than trying to put something on the back and get it to stick. I think it would adhere to itself better. Yeah, you're right. But then you would only have half as much too.
That's true.
Yeah, there's an up and down to both sides there. Yes, but that's true. I have found that if I think outside the box, kind of like that, I can use a lot more stuff than I think I can. I get a lot more. People are very quick to come to the conclusion that they don't have enough of something, so they don't do it. And I'm kind of one of those that I consider it a challenge. And if you tell me I don't have enough of something, I'm going to find some other way to add to it or do it a different way, or find something else to put with it. I'm just kind of that way because, again, I hate shopping. I just do. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all's input. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm always excited to see y'all. It seems like most of my craft classes has been on Sundays, and it's been a nice way to spend Sunday afternoon. Again, you're not going to find me out of the store if I can help it. So it's really nice to spend a little time with some like-minded people who can see a little creativity in things. And my mind doesn't turn off to it. It really doesn't. And it's great therapy for me, the nurse. I get to pretend I'm not a nurse on today. So
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. It was a pleasure to see all of you. I hope you'll join again. If y'all have any input, you're going to get an email from me. Feel free to give your input, your feedback. You're going to get an opportunity to do the 5-star rating. It's going to default to 4 stars. You can change it to 1 star, 5 stars, or anywhere in between if you want. But give some feedback about what you like or what you'd like to see more of. The support staff at Get Set Up really does look at that extremely closely. And because they're looking to expand every single day and offer more things for you all. And we want to make sure it's things that you're interested in. So the more input you give, the more that really helps us. But I encourage you to find some other classes or come see me in one of my classes. I have a dementia education class and a long-term care class. Long-term care being, if you're planning ahead, the things that you really want to know. And find important. I've been in healthcare since 1988, so I've learned a few things, and love to share them with my peers, so that maybe when the time comes, you have some of the information that's going to help you be ready for what you're going to face with yourself or with your loved one. So I encourage y'all to come back, and can't wait to see you again.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank
Thanks. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks.
Enjoy
Have a good week, Jennifer.
Thanks, Carol Sue.
Dark.
Bye, y'all.
My camera. Oh, I'm dark there. See, and then you type,